if you do meet anybody, tell them what you're doing. You know, tell them that we're looking for the candidate for the Macpherson electorate.
It's a sunny winter's day on the Gold Coast in the federal electorate of Macpherson. It takes in suburbs like Burleigh Heads, Robina and the community here in Currumbin.
People are feeling really tired and disappointed with the sort of sport that goes on with the major parties. And that's actually why they want a candidate who will think long term and will not get into divisive politics. And we're just letterboxing today.
Leah Stackpool is one of the founders of Macpherson Independent. They're on the search for a candidate for the next federal election.
People are actually looking for a candidate that is a community and a business leader, that actually comes from this community.
This is the first time a community group backed by Climate 200 has been active in this seat. Ms Stackpool says they intend to run a positive campaign on climate issues and cost of living.
We're seeing people, we're getting to know people who are families who are sleeping in their cars. And we just feel like that shouldn't be happening in this rich country that we have and not in our community as well.
The group has already received $27,000 from Climate 200. It provides initial grants and then matches funding raised by the community groups.
We've provided 4 grants from the Community Accelerator Fund to date, so to the communities in Fisher, Fairfax, Moncrief and Macpherson, and that funding is helping them do the fundamentals of building up a good campaign.
Macpherson is a safe LNP seat held by Karen Andrews. She's stepping down at the next election. The party's next candidate is Leon Rebello.
I don't believe in safe seats. I'm running very much a marginal seat campaign. I'm putting everything I can to make sure that I'm not taking anything for granted.
Hello, how are you? My name's Leon, so I'm the LNP candidate for the federal.
What do you make of the emergence of these community groups that are getting accelerator funding from Climate 200?
At the last election in 2022, they had some success because they felt that the major parties weren't listening. What I am doing is being out and about and talking about the issues that matter to people. What the coalition is doing is we're out and about talking about the same issues that everyone's telling me, and it's cost of living, it's housing, it's crime, and how we're going to fix that.
Further north on the Sunshine Coast, another Climate 200-backed community group, Fairfax Matters, is holding small gatherings to understand issues that are important to voters.
There's a lot of families really hurting from cost of living, people that are working hard and feeling like failures for not being able to kind of make ends meet and considering going to charities for the first time.
Like Macpherson, Fairfax is a safe LNP seat. Colin Graham says this, and the region's changing demographic could make it vulnerable.
This region is growing rapidly, one of the fastest growing regions in Australia, and we just think we're not getting enough attention, we're not getting really a fair go, but we're not under any illusions. We know it's going to be tough, but we want to give it a good go.
The seat is held by the Shadow Energy Minister, who designed the Coalition's nuclear policy, Ted O'Brien.
Climate and nuclear is an issue, but it's probably about number 5 in the ranking. So things like affordable housing, transportation, infrastructure, opportunities for young people, they're actually higher up on people's agenda than energy and particularly nuclear.
We've had incredibly effective members in those seats and we'll continue to do so. And we can only fix our economy, we can only bring inflation down, we can only make sure that we get the energy mix right for our country if you vote for the Coalition at the next election. Our country can't afford, your family can't afford, your small business can't afford 3 more years of Labor.
Climate 200 says there are similarities between Fairfax and Macpherson, and those seats won by the independents it backed in the last election.
They were all really safe seats, and that really underpinned why they're actually quite vulnerable, because when you're a safe seat, you get very little for it. And people woke up to that fact in places like Kooyong and in the ACT Senate with David Pocock, in Wentworth with Allegra Spender.
You're seeing the same sort of thing here in Queensland, where there's a strong LNP vote in one of those Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast seats. They're ripe for the taking, particularly if they've got a strong base of professional women who are quite prodigious networkers.
The major parties are also being threatened by the Greens.
Just to give you a sense of the strength of the Greens in Queensland, if we win either Lilly or Moreton, we'll draw level with federal Labor in terms of the number of lower house federal seats in Queensland.
Last election, the party won 2 Brisbane seats from the LNP and 1 from Labor, which was taken by Greens MP Max Chandler Mather.
And they said we couldn't do it.
He says the Greens have their sights on 2 more Labor seats this election.
If you look at suburbs in those 2 electorates, in Moreton, suburbs like Annerley and Acacia Ridge have over or close to 50% renters in those suburbs. Similarly, a suburb like Nunda in Lilly has over 50% renters. Now, these are people are on the front line of the cost of living and housing crisis.
It's a marginal seat that requires a lot of work. I've never taken the people from Moreton for granted.
Labor MP Graham Perrott has held the seat of Moreton since 2007. He says the Greens will face a strong contest.
They should not think that this is easy picking, low-hanging fruit. I will fight hard to ensure that the people of Moreton understand what Labor will deliver for them. That's what I've been doing for 20 years, and I guarantee that the people of Moreton like a straight shooting politician who makes a promise and delivers on that promise.
John Black says while the Greens could take Moreton, they may struggle to retain the 2 seats they won from the LNP in 2022, Brisbane and Ryan.
It remains to be seen how effective their campaign is going to be against a Liberal Party or an LNP that's doing better in Queensland in 2025 than they did in 2022. And the old-fashioned 2-party preferred pendulum doesn't apply anymore. It's on for young and old.